And let's take a live look at the Inner Harbor right now as Fox 45 continues our investigation into its water safety. It comes as the city welcomes members of the public to jump in and swim in the next month, marking the first time in 40 years. They say the harbor is healthy enough to do that in. Well, this week, Fox 45 put those claims to the test with our own independent water testing. And tonight, Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor shares the results and the city's response to what we learned. Rebecca, you're probably not surprised that the city is balking a little bit after your story.
Proving to be almost as challenging as cleaning up years of toxins, litter, and debris, trying to turn the tides on people's perception of the Inner Harbor's waters.
See, that water is not suitable for human contact, in my opinion.
Could be diseases, parasites, leeches.
With so much skepticism still lingering, Fox 45 taking matters into our own hands. Collecting water samples in Canton and in Fells Point to be tested for E. coli and Enterococci, both fecal matter bacteria. 24 hours later, Fountain Valley, a state-certified lab in Westminster, delivering the independent results. Based on the EPA's safe water standards, stating E. coli shouldn't exceed a level of 410 and Enterococci 130, Fells Point passing the test, but Canton failing miserably, with an E. coli level double what's recommended and Enterococci 18 times higher than the standard. Weighing in on our findings,
I would definitely wash my feet before or after using that boat ramp, I guess.
Adam Lindquist, head of the city's Healthy Harbor Initiative, explaining while the bacteria levels in Canton may seem high, they were pulled from a shallow boat ramp and more than likely aren't an accurate representation of the Canton waterfront as a whole.
The standard for testing is actually to drop what we call a beta tester, which is a special bottle designed to take water samples from 1 meter below the surface to avoid some of that surface water contamination.
Additionally, Alice Volpetta, lead water quality scientist for Blue Water Baltimore, an environmental watchdog group, pointing to the large goose population nearby.
But not all poop is created equal, and people are much more likely to get sick from coming into contact with human sewage than they are with other forms of fecal contamination.
Both agreeing diving in should be a data-driven decision, especially with bacteria fluctuating rapidly. But testing also needs to be done more frequently over an extended period of time to ensure accuracy. And yet, for the last 7 months, Baltimore's Waterfront Partnership pausing weekly water quality testing, now set to resume just 4 weeks before the city's first public swim event in 40 years.
Is that, enough time to be able to tell whether or not the waters are safe or not?
Absolutely. Last year during the recreation season, we tested every day, Monday through Friday, and that gave us a really crystal clear picture as to when bacteria levels spike and when they are okay. They were okay 80% of the time, and they spiked after rain events. So we're very confident that this is more than enough data to make a decision about whether or not to jump in on June 23rd.
A deeper dive into the city's data revealing that overall 80% safety score only includes samples collected on dry weather days. The fine print explaining all samples collected 48 hours after more than half an inch of rain get thrown out, inevitably boosting the safety score, with rain the main cause of sewage overflows.
But at the end of the day, the most important data point is the one that you won't even know about until the day after you get out.
As for the day of the harbor splash, Lindquist saying the Fells Point site selected for its consistently low levels of bacteria, like what we saw in our own testing. Keeping those numbers in mind, Lindquist hoping residents will start to open their minds to what he calls a more swimmable, fishable harbor.
And it's important to note that we previously reported that Fells Point had failed to pass the EPA's safe swimming standards. That standard that we were using should only be used when you're comparing it to an average of multiple samples. We obviously had only gone out and collected one sample from Fells Point. So the safety standard that we should have been using has a much higher threshold to account for any possible outliers. And in waters like these, where bacteria ebbs and flows frequently, that higher bacteria level standard is always the preferred method. Reporting live from the Canton waterfront, Rebecca Pryor, Fox 45 News.
I'm Kai Jackson. Thank you for watching. Here's another video to watch. Also, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel.